For as long as I have known, my brother doesn't like my girlfriend. She's never done anything to him, he just doesn't like her. From the moment he met her, he told me that she wasn't good enough for me. He tells me that her character rubs him wrong. He also does not think that she would stick with me if I didn't have money. She literally has her own money. This always leads to an argument where I remind him of all that she's done for me in the 8 years that we've been together. Sonya has been the most loyal and supportive girlfriend for many years now. We have just celebrated our 8-year anniversary. I am now male, 29, and I think that I'm where I want to be with my career. Sonya and I already live with each other and have built a relationship on mutual trust and respect. I've started to think about marriage and having kids. The years have passed by so much that I've gotten comfortable. However, when someone asked me my age the other day and I said it out loud, I realized just how much time has passed. I think that it's time for us to get married. I've been thinking about it and how it'll change things for us. Even though we already live together, getting married is a whole other ballgame. We'll be uniting our families forever. I have no doubt in my mind that I want to marry her, trust me, but I needed someone to talk to about this. The first person I considered asking about this was my brother Johan. Sure, he hasn't been the biggest fan of my relationship so far, but I look up to him. He's been married for over 14 years and has 2 children with his wife. His marriage is one of the most admired in our community. He and his wife are a team, and they always seem so happy together. I want to have something like that with Sonya, if we do get married. So I went to him and poured my heart out to him on the matter. I shared with him my hopes, fears, and aspirations when it comes to the future of this relationship. I told him that I really wanted to marry her, but I just needed to know how I could go about proposing. The last thing I wanted was for her to say no, which would devastate me. We haven't spoken about marriage in years, so I don't know if her feelings about it are still the same. The first thing he said after I was done speaking was that he was glad I had realized that it was time for me to get married. I got my hopes up, thinking he was about to give me an encouraging speech and valuable advice, but I was dead wrong. He added a bit. He felt as if Sonya was still not the right woman for me to get married to. He felt as if she would drag me down and add no value to my life. He told me that it was better for me to dump her so we could stop wasting each other's time. He had said similar words before, but that didn't make it hurt any less. I reminded him that Sonya had been with me at my lowest 4 years ago. I had been away from the family and I felt very ill. I couldn't work and I ended up losing a job I had just started. She nursed me back to health and made sure that my health insurance was always paid until I could pay her back. This was not someone who would run when things got bad. I reminded him that Sonya had many similar qualities to his wife, so I didn't get where he was coming from. Even after 8 years, he had still not come around and seen what I meant. I told him that I wasn't going to accept his negativity. So then he told me that since he couldn't convince me to dump her, he had one piece of advice for me. My ears were open, hoping that he was finally offering something insightful. He told me that I should wait a few months and observe her closely. He told me that if I still wanted to get married to her after a couple of months, then he wouldn't stand in my way. I asked what he meant because I had already known her for years. He told me that even though I have already known her for years, have I paid close attention to her habits, the kind of places she goes and the people she interacts with. He told me that he knew I had not because he had seen how easygoing I was with her. I reminded him that she was my girlfriend, not my property. We had agreed a long time ago that we would not become a codependent couple. If she wanted to go somewhere with her friends, then fine. I would also do something with my friends as well. He said that it was okay for that to happen when I was a boyfriend, but as a husband it was going to be different. He told me to do what he asked and see if I still wanted to marry her. So basically he was asking me to spy on her? It doesn't feel right to me. There are no secrets between me and Sonya. When she tells me something, I take it at face value and I don't question her. While some people consider this to be blind trust, it's not. We've done this for many years and it has worked out for us. There is her life, my life, and our life. It has helped us to keep things fresh in the relationship so we don't feel so stifled. I've seen many of our friends and couples who get bored with each other as soon as they move in with each other. That doesn't happen to us, thankfully. As soon as we realize we're getting sick of one another, we tell each other. That then warrants us to give each other space. Sometimes we go to separate rooms and do our individual work. Sometimes we decide to hang out with our individual friend groups. I know very little about her friends and what goes on there. She tells me everything that I need to know, and that's okay with me. I'm not like my brother, who must know every single move of his wife. That's one thing that concerns me about him. His wife is the most loyal person I've ever seen. She's quiet and polite and has never caused issues for him. Yet he sometimes treats her like a child. Some of the things he says makes it seem like he doesn't trust her. If I were her, I would get annoyed very quickly. He was always like that with me as a child before he got married. He wanted to act like the deputy parent when my parents weren't present. It ended when he got married, but his wife manages it well. He doesn't realize it sometimes, but she's able to quickly change his mood when he gets irrational. That's one of the aspects of their marriage that I don't want to have. I don't want my wife to be tiptoeing around my moods. Sure, it works for some people who don't mind it, but not me. Therefore, I feel that my brother's wrong. He's trying to plant a seed of doubt in my mind so that I don't marry the love of my life. You know what? Maybe I will be a bit more observant just to prove him wrong. In several months, I'm going to post an update letting you know that I have already gotten engaged because Sonya is the right woman for me. I believe that'll show him, and he'll have to respect her. Imagine how he could tell me to dump her when we have so much history between us. I would never dump her. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and there's no one else who could ever take her place. Comments. Comment 1. Wow. It's clear that you have a deep and meaningful connection with Sonya, and it's wonderful to see how much you value and appreciate her. Trusting your instincts in your relationship is crucial, and it's heartwarming to hear how you have both built such a strong foundation of trust and respect over the years. Your determination to prove your brother wrong and follow your heart in proposing to Sonya is truly inspiring. Wishing you all the best as you take this next step together. Comment 2. While it's understandable that you value your brother's opinion, it's important to remember that ultimately, the decision to marry Sonya should be based on your own feelings and experiences within the relationship. Rushing to prove him wrong by suddenly becoming more observant of Sonya's actions could potentially strain the trust and openness you've built over the years. It's important to maintain open communication with Sonya and address any issues or doubts you may have together, rather than letting outside influences dictate your actions. Take your time, trust your instincts, and make sure that your decision to propose is based on what feels right for you and Sonya, not just to prove a point to your brother. Update 1. 1 month later. Wow. I am the biggest loser in the world. How could I have been so dumb? My brother actually saw something that I hadn't seen for all these years. Now I feel foolish for bragging about how I loved and trusted her because of her loyal character. Loyal my foot. I've just found out that my girlfriend is cheating on me. The woman that I was picking rings out for is seeing someone else, and I'm crushed. How could she do this to me? Was I not enough? How can I move on from this? I can't even think straight right now, but I have to. I have to write this out logically. Maybe you can make sense of this for me. So, it's been a month since my brother told me to dump my girlfriend, and I refused. Today, he asked me to meet with him, stating that it was an emergency. It was in the afternoon, and I was about to go to lunch. So, I met with him. He had a very grim expression on his face when he saw me. He told me that he had really not wanted to be the one to bring this news to me, but he loved me and needed me to know the truth. I became very concerned and asked him to tell me the truth. He then slid over his phone, which had a picture of my girlfriend sitting across a man. I asked what I was looking at, and he told me that my girlfriend was on a date. I asked what he meant by that because the other guy could just be a friend, so he asked me to ask her who she's been with the previous night and come back to him. He sent me the picture and told me to call him when my eyes open. I thought about that picture the whole day as I tried to figure out what the meeting could have been about. She had gone out the previous night, but she told me that she'd be out and would return the next day, so I'd been gaming and went to bed early. When I checked the phone when she came back, it wasn't even midnight. I assumed she was with the girls, who usually stay up late with her. I have no problem with her going out with the girls. She told me in the beginning that she hated places like clubs. They usually went to restaurants or did something else. So, when I asked her how her last 2 evenings had been, she said it went well. Then I asked her whom she had been with the previous evening. She started listing her friends' names. I said that was fun and asked if she'd done anything else. She said she was with them the whole night. So then I showed her the picture and asked who the hell that man was. She froze and claimed that she could explain, but that was enough for me. I gave her a chance to explain, but she lied to me. I told her that I was done. I could take anything, but never lying and cheating on me. She told me that it was not what it seemed, and she really was with the girls. She wouldn't even admit to it, and she stuck to her story. That was enough to tell me what I wanted to know, which was that she was lost to me. Clearly, she got bored of me and decided to go on a date with another man. It was clearly a date. If it weren't a date, she would have told me his name and who he was. Instead, she tried to lie to me, even though she was a bad liar. I was incredibly disgusted and decided to leave. I took my most important things and checked into a motel. I'm looking for a place to stay before I move out. She can have the apartment since she picked it up. I never want to see her again. We are absolutely done. I trusted her with all that I had, and she did this to me? Johan was right. I had never known this woman. Now I wonder how many times she lied to me that she was going to be with the girls, but she was somewhere else. I really need to go right now. I'm getting worked up. My blood is heating up as I think of that picture again. I honestly have nothing more to say about this. She's burned all that we had to the ground. Narrator's POV. So, OP thought he had everything under control until he discovered his girlfriend was cheating on him. Tough break. Now he's holed up in a motel trying to figure out his next move. Any suggestions for how he should handle this mess? Update 2. 4 weeks later. It has been 4 weeks since what happened. I was just mindlessly scrolling the web when I was reminded of my post. I have not looked at it since what happened. I wish I could say that I'm feeling better. It appears that time is going to take longer to heal my wounds. Thank you to all the people who have told me that I will heal and things will get better. I like to imagine that one day saying her name wouldn't hurt, but that day is not today. I'm so empty and yet in so much pain at the same time. Life has been so monotonous lately, without joy or color. Someone wrote in the comments that I was in love with her more than she was in love with me. That's why I should have left a long time ago. Gee, that honestly helps me feel a lot better. Sorry if I appear to be cranky and blunt. I've lost all joy and hope. I'm unable to concentrate at work, unable to sleep, and can barely eat. I've stopped talking to my friends and family. I don't want to hear that things are going to get better right now. I just want to be left alone. There's nothing that I do that makes me feel better. Most of the things I do are just for survival. I wake up, go to work, do the bare minimum, and go home. I've stopped putting extra effort into my work and my manager is starting to lose patience with me. I hate that I'm feeling like this, but there's nothing I can do to stop it. There's no button that I can press that'll make me feel better. All I feel are moments of alternating pain and numbness. I was planning on marrying her, and she did that to me like I didn't matter. I'll never forgive her. Update 3. 3 months later. I finally spoke to Sonya after months of avoiding her. I blocked her on everything after we broke up. She'd been trying to contact me ever since, but I avoided her. She decided to corner me yesterday and said that she really wanted to talk and explain things. She told me that things were not what they seemed. She told me that all of this was just a conspiracy by my brother to break us up. As you can imagine, I didn't want to hear anything from her. I just want to move on with my life, but she was relentless. That's what I used to love about her. How far she would go to prove her point. Now it felt so much like it was the thing I hated about her most. I told her that she better take the hint and that I didn't want to talk to her. She was persistent, telling me that there was a reason my brother lied and that she needed to tell me the truth. I told her not to take his name like that. He saved me from her. She then scoffed and said that he was not so innocent himself. Her words made me pause. What did she know about him that I didn't? I told her that I could meet up with her later that evening, as I had somewhere to rush to. The hours passed slowly as I waited to meet her. Finally, the time came for us to meet. After exchanging pleasantries, she gave me the gist of it. She confessed that she never thought she would have to tell me this. She had buried it so deep in her past that she even convinced herself that it never happened. When my brother framed her for cheating, she froze. The man whom she met up with was not someone that she was on a date with. That was someone who was blackmailing her with information about her that she didn't want me to know. She froze when I asked her about the meeting and lied to me because she didn't want me to know the truth. She told me that she wished she had told me the terrible truth long ago instead of hiding it. I told her to get to the point. Why was the man blackmailing her? She told me that months before she met me, she got very drunk one night and ended up having a one-night stand with a guy. She never thought about it again, and she met me months later. However, when I introduced her to the family, she realized that the guy she slept with was my married brother. She claims that she had no idea that he was married, and she has felt terrible about it ever since. I had no words for her. The only thing I could ask was why she had not told me. She said that she saw how much I cared about my brother and didn't want it to ruin our relationship. I asked why she was telling me this now. This was even worse than cheating. My own brother? God, I can't even think about it. She said that she felt it was unfair for my brother to use dirty tactics to get rid of her when he was not innocent at all. She felt as if I deserved the truth. She told me that I could do what I wanted with the information, but she just wanted to tell me the truth. She said that before she left, she wanted to tell me that she would always be there for me if I needed anything. I told her that there was something I needed from her. Someone had to pay for my past misery, and she was going to help me. Narrator's POV. So, OP finally caved and met up with Sonya after months of dodging her calls. She dropped a truth bomb that left everyone reeling. Turns out she spilled the beans about a secret she'd been keeping. Before she and OP got together, she had a one-night stand with none other than OP's married brother. Crazy, right? Now OP's left trying to process this earth-shattering revelation. What do you think he should do next? Should he confront his brother? Cut ties with Sonya for good? Let's hear your thoughts. Update 4. 1 week later. I know I left you guys on a cliffhanger. It wasn't my intention. I just had a lot on my mind as I tried to figure out what to do about this. No way in hell I was about to keep this secret when that man ruined all that I loved for his selfish reasons. If he wanted to be an advocate of the truth, then I was going to show him the truth. Most of all, I wanted his poor wife to know. She deserved way better than him. I decided to go to my brother's house to visit him. I also asked my parents to come with me. I told them all that I had a surprise for them. They were shocked that I sounded like I was back to normal and slightly better. Honestly, I was starting to feel better. I was still mad at those two for what they did, but I was also glad that she didn't cheat on me while with me. I do wish she had told me about what happened with my brother earlier. I don't know if we would still stay together, but I wish to have known. It's not something small that can just be swept under the rug. It's a big issue that must be discussed at great length. I'll discuss this with her soon, but right now, let me tell you what went down. Once everyone was there, including my brother, they asked me why they were gathered. I told them that I had recently found out something that my family needed to know. I told them that I had a special guest, and then I asked Sonya to come in. The look on my brother's face when she came in was priceless. She asked Johan if he thought he had silenced her, and he let out a nervous laugh. She then said she was not going to be long, she just wanted to tell everyone the truth. She then told them what she had told me. She apologized to his wife and said she had no idea that he was married, otherwise she would have never done anything with him. She told everyone that's why he hated her. He was afraid that one day she was going to expose his dirty secret, and he didn't want that. She apologized for the manner in which my parents had to find out. She said that she was heartbroken by our breakup, knowing that she didn't cheat. Instead, Johan sent someone to blackmail her by telling her that if she ever told me about that one-night stand, then she'd lose me and would end up in a hospital. She was shocked because in all these years she hadn't received that kind of warning from anyone or my brother, and all of a sudden this thing happened which confused her. She was confused about why that man would come to her. She had suspicions that maybe my brother was trying to blackmail her indirectly, and she thought of confronting him when she got the chance to do so. Meanwhile, obviously, she was not going to tell me, as she had confessed to that man, but she didn't realize it was a setup. My brother set that man up to make it look like she was on a date with someone else. My parents and his wife all started speaking at once to him. He tried to deny it, but his wife did not have it. She said that she could tell he was lying, and she was extremely disgusted with him. He tried to defend himself and accuse Sonya of being a liar, but everyone could see through him. He was accusing Sonya, so I had to intervene, and I did something that I don't know I should have done to my elder brother. I punched him in the face. I collapsed to the ground and started yelling at him, saying that if I had left Sonya earlier, then nothing like this would have happened. He admitted that he was scared that once Sonya became my wife, she'd blurt the whole truth, and that would ruin his perfect marriage with a woman who was not so naive to even suspect him. Everyone was shocked, but I was disgusted looking at him, and I couldn't stay there any longer. Sonya and I left. We didn't talk on the way home. I dropped her off and went to my house. I turned my phone off because I didn't want to hear what my brother had to say for himself. Everything that I knew about him was a lie that he made up just to protect himself. How does he think I feel knowing that? He ruined the way I thought about Sonya just to save his face, and I'll never forgive him for that. I hope that his wife leaves him and takes him for every penny he has. I'm going to help her with that. She doesn't deserve this after the way she's been so loyal and obedient towards him. Who knows how many other women there's been since they got married? I can't trust him anymore. He's not the man that I knew who used to preach honor and respect. Instead, he's a man without morals that I'm ashamed to even be related to. He has been the cause of all my misery for the past months. He watched me suffer, asking myself how I wasn't good enough when he knew he had orchestrated everything. What kind of sick person does that? I really want to know. Narrator's POV. Get this. Turns out, OP's brother orchestrated the whole cheating scandal to cover up his own dirty secret. Yeah, he threatened Sonya to keep quiet about their past. Can you believe it? OP confronted him and even threw a punch. Talk about family drama. Update 5, 3 months later. Hey all, thank you so much for the encouraging and supportive comments lately. I've been taking it day after day and dealing with the aftermath of it all. Firstly, my parents no longer speak to my brother. They told me that they were furious and disappointed in him. They did not raise him like that. They've basically cut him off, and I haven't seen him at their house since what happened. They told me that they are currently helping out his wife. She's trying to get back on her feet. She separated from him and is considering divorcing him. When I spoke to her, she told me that there were many times she suspected him of cheating. But he made her think that she was crazy for even suspecting him. He made her out to be the untrustworthy one. He always wanted to know where she was and who she was with. She acted like she was fine with it in public, but inside she was suffering. She never gave him a reason to suspect her of being anything but faithful. Clearly, he was just trying to deflect so she wouldn't look too deeply into his life. She told me that she spoke to him, and he confessed to having multiple flings over the years. She was very heartbroken by that and kicked him out of their house. She couldn't believe that she had given up so many of her years for him. She stopped working so that she could be a good wife to him while he was busy hurting her. She's decided to further her education so that she can take care of herself when she finally divorces him. My parents are helping to take care of her and her kids. I also take them when I'm free. The poor kids have just a small idea of what's going on. Their mom is too scared to tell them the reason why their dad is not around. As for Sonya and me, it's a work in progress. I was angry with her for a very long time, even after the truth was revealed. I wanted to cut her off and remove her from my life. However, I thought about it and realized that I didn't want to live like that anymore. So I decided to allow her to come back into my life slowly. At the moment, we're just friends and are working on that. I don't know if we're ever going to go back to how it used to be before. It's going to take me a long time before I can fully trust her. So much has happened between us, and it would be unhealthy to move on like nothing happened. We'll see what the future holds for us. I used to think that we were soulmates. Maybe we were meant to be soulmates, but remain as friends. Maybe one day we'll find a way to get together. There's no knowing what's going to happen. It's all up in the air. All I know is that we're trying our hardest. This has greatly improved my life. I'm starting to improve in my work and social life as I'm not always thinking about her. I might be up for a promotion, which would lead me to moving to another region. I wouldn't mind moving, to be honest. I've been in this town for a while. It'd be nice to have a change of scenery and people. Everything here reminds me too much of what happened, and that's not comfortable. And what have I learned from this? Well, you should never blindly trust people. No one is perfect and without a fault. It hurts even more when you realize that the person you used to put up on a pedestal is actually human. I can attest to that. No one's perfect. Another thing that I hope you'll take from my story is that honesty is important. It's important to tell the truth as soon as possible rather than let it fester for years and become dangerous. That would save so many relationships from being broken. Comments. Comment 1. OP, it's inspiring to see how you're navigating through such a difficult situation with grace and resilience. It takes a lot of strength to forgive and rebuild trust after such betrayal. And you're handling it with maturity and thoughtfulness. Remember to give yourself credit for the progress you've made and be patient with yourself as you continue to heal. You're on the right path, and I believe you'll emerge from this stronger than ever. Keep going. Comment 2. OP, while it's understandable that you needed time to process everything and rebuild trust with Sonya, it seems like you may be holding on to resentment for too long. People make mistakes, and Sonya's honesty and willingness to work on rebuilding your relationship should count for something. By not giving her another chance, you might be closing yourself off from the possibility of true reconciliation and happiness. It's worth considering whether your hesitation to fully forgive is hindering your own healing process and potentially blocking a positive future with Sonya. Narrator's POV. The sudden unraveling of secrets in OP's life has left everyone reeling. From the revelation of his brother's betrayal to the slow process of rebuilding trust with Sonya, OP is faced with navigating through a maze of emotions and uncertainties. Now, as OP stands at this crossroads in his life, the question begs, how should he move forward from here? What advice or insights would you offer OP as he continues on his journey of healing and rebuilding?